Welcome to reality NSFW coverage of Survivor South Africa Season 9, Return of the Outcast. I'm Jonny Fairplay. That's Karen Kuhlman. That's Tristan Nienaber. Boom! Whew. Okay, so peek behind the curtain. I'm here in Nashville. I got the roast of Ric Flair tonight. I got SummerSlam tomorrow. I have been up for about 6 hours already. I'm going to sleep. However, I am going to give you broad strokes about what I think about episodes 5 through 8, because I didn't say that to begin with. Yes, we're talking Survivor South Africa, Season 9, Return of the Outcast, episodes 5 through 8. Is everybody excited?
Too excited. It was a crazy week. It's bittersweet.
So I just finished watching episode 8 10 minutes ago.
Oh, and, so it's fresh.
I did not like the end.
No, I don't think anybody did.
I don't think so either. So
well, maybe some Dante fans loved the ending, but
I don't know who they are. So, but anyway, so just broad strokes. Going back to episode 5, I like the Tevin move. I thought. If you go back and watch Survivor All-Stars, the first U.S. All-Star version, if you're a previous winner, go home. If you're this huge personality or great player, go home. Like, you had your chance. It's our turn. And so, I love Tevin. I thought he was an incredible player, but I think of the available options, he was easily one of the most dangerous people out there. So if you're here to win, that person needs to go, or just give him 2 million rand.
Pretty much, and the edit even showed Tevin. It was the edit that he was given was almost this exact split image of his edit that he had in his own season, saying that he doesn't want to be too confident and overconfident. He doesn't want to think that he knows where the game is going, but doesn't. And it was the exact same edit this season. So
wow,
he learned nothing.
He learned nothing, and that's the big thing that we came to watch on this season. What have you learned? Mm-hmm. And we'll get to your winner pick here in a second, Tristan. So I enjoyed Pinty's acting here, for the Tevin boot, because it's just like, Pinty, if you don't build this up, that it's going to be you. And Pinty delivered here. Pinty delivers wrestling maneuvers later, but we'll get there. Okay. And Sheamus is not like this. And anything that upsets Sheamus, I'm always for. So that part. So our next reward deal, we got the Lotto Star sponsor, and I knew it had to work its way in at some point. And wow, this was just a shit sandwich. They spin the Lotto Star wheel, and congratulations! No, you do not get the $1 billion Mega Millions. No, you get a bag of lentils.
Sure, that must have gone down very well. It was better than boiled eggs, I guess. I'd rather have lentils than boiled eggs.
Didn't they already have lentils, though?
I think they had a small portion, but at that time, I think the lentils and the rice had already finished out. So I think they needed more food. So
how about throwing a car on there? Or 5,000 rand. I mean, just something just to, kind of spice it up.
I think with the car scenario, they've got fans the fan favorite, and basically here in South Africa, they're running a competition where you choose your favorite castaway online, and the person at the end of the show who gets fan favorite gets a car, as well as the viewers who enter the competition. They also stand a chance to win something really big as well. So I think it's a car as well. So I think they're giving 2 cars away that way.
Well, it doesn't necessarily need to be a car for the Lotto Star, but throw some cash on there, or just a fucking pile of fucking scratch.
So it fits more with the sponsor.
Yeah, if you, Tristan, you're in South Africa. When you go to the convenience store and you buy Lotto Star tickets, is one of the prizes a bag of lentils?
I think if I saw that, I wouldn't know if that's Lotto Star or not. So
Yeah, you would be like, I don't want to play Lotto Star.
no, I want to win money. I don't want to win lentils.
Yeah, so
At least there was mac and cheese.
Yeah, mac and cheese was the fault because like Nico was just like, oh, this is a dud. But don't worry, we'll have a much bigger dud when it comes to a challenge later. Don't worry. So,
What did you
Oh,
guys
God.
think of mac and cheese? How do you think it looked?
I couldn't tell. Like it looked like it had the potential to just be like, the stuff that's like glue and has no flavor.
I thought the exact same. So when I saw that they were eating mac and cheese, I was looking at the stuff that was on the spoon, and it looked like mashed potato, like yellow mashed potato. It did not look nice. So I don't know if they actually enjoyed it or if it was any good. But
It's hard to tell because there are some like really good cheeses that are white and colorless, but at the same time, did they spend on some like fancy cheese for this mac and cheese? Probably not.
I did not pay attention to the mac and cheese. I apologize. So it doesn't matter. Tony and Tijan are there to spill tea. Well, Tony is. Tijan's just there to watch and say nothing. But that streak will continue later.
I was gonna say that's like his whole game right now, and it's working fabulously.
He's been invited to 2 alliances, which is a lot more than Dino has thus far. So Dante is targeting Dino and given the opportunity, and does he? I loved every confessional of everyone laughing at Seamus asking them to vote with him. I mean, there is just like, you're with me, and then every single person he went to, they were pulled for a confessional to laugh literally in his face.
I was even wondering at some stage where if production actually like grabbed when they were speaking about Seamus, like, okay, well, now that you're on the topic and that the emotions are fresh, come, let's have a confessional so that you can laugh about it and ravel into more information on how funny this scenario is.
Yeah, wow. I mean, it was bad. And also we learned Pinty's view of how the game is going is much better than the real game. I don't know what Pinty is playing. I think Pinty is playing a combination between Survivor Pearl Islands and All Stars, and her name is Rupert.
Oh gosh!
But she wins.
Yeah.
Of all people to be cocky, it's like, really?
Yeah. But I'm here for. I mean, like, I get to listen to Pinty describe what she thinks is happening for the rest of the season. I mean, because I don't feel it's the game that I'm watching on television. But her version sounds really enjoyable.
I'm here for somebody with confidence that doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah,
we saw a lot of that this week.
Yes. I've decided I like Philip a lot. He is hilarious.
He is so funny.
He's my favorite.
Did you see his T-shirt? I think it was it says "Don't."
It said "I put out." Philip's T-shirt.
Yeah,
is that what it says?
It's like a fire extinguisher, but it says "I put out."
Oh wow! Look at he's funny. So, it's really good. I don't think they would allow that shirt in the U.S.
Really?
I don't think
Probably
so.
not. This is a family show.
Yes. Oh yeah. So Tony's ready for a tribe swap. She's been getting bored, and I typically cry when I get bored too. So I get it. Everyone chooses a new buff. Shona, right?
Shona.
So Shona gets to decide. She goes red, which looks like it might be a mistake. Spoiler, it is. So Masu doesn't get it. No numbers on the new red tribe. Shona explains what the bag rules are once they get to the new Yontao, and that goes over like a fart in church. And Shane explains that that's rules for people that don't play past the merge, and Shane is correct.
I like Shane too.
He's growing on me.
Okay, this is where I'm different. Like Shane, I don't like at all. Like,
Oh really?
I just don't like his edits. I don't like how the show is making him feel like he's this person that's got this one mind, and then all of a sudden they say, okay, don't do this, and there's Shane's edit saying, I'm going to do this. So kind of like, as a viewer, it like plays on you and like, come on, seriously?
Yeah. So I feel like Shane might be phoning it in a little bit, and I'm okay with Shane phoning it in a little bit. Like, not everybody has to be a superstar.
Yeah, right.
Felix notices that the Masu shelter is a piece of crap because they literally just put up a frame and said fuck it, and they're like, no, we have the tarp up, but then 2 episodes later they're using the tarp as a fucking blanket.
Oh my god.
Love it right now. I love Phil and Marion together. I think that is a great combination. Put them together more. Steffi gets hurt the challenge. And Pinty Yokozuna bonsai splashes someone. And I thought it was Marion, and I was ready to cry. Because they had so much mud on them at the end of the episode. And I heard the scream. I'm just like, do not let that be Marion screaming.
There were so many people that I know personally that thought that it was Marion. They were always like, shame, poor Marion. I'm like, Marion? It wasn't Marion. It was Shona.
Yeah.
The only way I could tell was because she had braids in her hair, right?
Yeah, I could not
tell.
So much mud. So we have the Steffi injury, we have the Shona injury, and then we have the cliffhanger, and we come back, and Nico goes, this is a fun challenge. Make it fun. Stop fucking hurting each other. Look, I'm going to add 2 more balls. Does that make it fun? And everyone's like, this isn't fun. There's nothing fun about it.
Can we please never do this challenge again?
Yeah. Well, it was fun in Australian All-Stars, but it was not fun watching for 2 episodes. It wasn't fun for 1 episode. It really wasn't fun for 2.
Did they have injuries in Australian All-Stars?
Nope.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. Not in that one. So Tony scores, anticlimactic. She gives Nico war paint, which I thought was a cute moment because Tony, I know you're watching, I know you're listening, and you think I just shit on you. And I do mostly. However, that was really cool that you gave Nico war paint. All right. So Pinty explains that she dug deep during this challenge. You fought fucking dirty, Pinty. And I went from having your back to I don't like Pinty anymore. But
it took her quite a while to say that she feels bad that she might have done that.
Yes. So, but if you wanted to dig deep for me to lose my support, mission accomplished.
And she had such a good edit. The previous episode, they were literally like, Pinty, we need you to cause a scene at Tribal Council. And she was like, got it, great. She can do it because that's the thing she's best at doing is causing.
Oh, yes. Yeah, mission was there, and I was for it, but I don't like Pinty hurting people. So Dino's scared he's gonna go home. Dino is crying and is being straight up ignored. I'm just like, oh no, this is not a good sign for our boy Dino. I mean, like he is sitting there just walking through camp, tears going through his face, and people are just like, so think it might storm later? No, Dino. So and it doesn't help that Dante's like, this crying is bullshit.
Oh God.
So anyway, Nico shows up. He goes, "Hey, got some news about Shona." It's like, he goes, "Yeah, she's right here." It's very, very anti-fucking climactic. And it's like, oh, Tribal's postponed, so we do have the Tribal the next day, and I think we're gonna get this grandiose thing. Shona going for the fucking idol at the beginning of Tribal to show, just like, oh my God, here's fucking chaos, but it turns out all that wasn't even fucking necessary. They had enough votes. Why did Philip change his Shona vote or his Dante vote to Shona?
Right.
He just ruined all their games. Well,
Right?
him and Dino's
face and Shona's face was so she was in her season she was dubbed as the deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
In season 5, and I've never seen a deer in the headlights as much as I saw Shona being voted out this season.
Oh yeah. Well, she should have made the play for the idol.
But I could
that
see
was like the security needed. I don't know. Like I feel like maybe Dino didn't communicate the necessity of everything, every piece to fall into place. Maybe he did, but I want to see more of that film.
She explained to the viewer, she goes, hey, I don't believe any of this. However, if everyone that's told me that actually talked to me today is correct, then these things need to happen. But I don't necessarily believe it because there's like 4 people that didn't talk to me at all, and they didn't mention it. You know, they're the 4 people writing down my name.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see the whole time, every time Nika was busy speaking to Shona and Shona was busy speaking, I could see her eyes were looking at that idol underneath the fireplace. I don't know if you guys picked it up as well, but I could see she was so uneasy and she kept looking in the same direction. I think there was even a bit of a snippet where Meryl kind of was looking at Shona and was looking where she was looking, but it wasn't anything massive, but it just showed how Shona wasn't making eye contact with Nico. And her mind was elsewhere. I could see she was looking at that idol. And I wonder to this day if she thought that she should have played it and how does she still feel that guilt?
Did she tell Dino where it was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because now Dino has that in his pocket at least.
Yeah, and Nico was kind enough to know that she fucked up the plan, and he was because she needed to create some kind of urgency prior to the vote. It had because if she had gone up after the fucking vote and grabbed the it's just like it doesn't fucking matter. It's a fucking fake idol. So Nico was just like, okay, she fucked up. She needed to do this during fucking tribal, and she didn't. But I'm gonna help her out. It's time to vote. Shona, you're first. Get it? As in, when you get up to walk to vote, stop by the fire, grab your idol, hold it up, and go vote. And then everyone shits themselves. And there's no time for conversation.
I thought she was going to do that. I was certain. And she kind of, when she stood up to take a walk past that fire, my heart like stopped beating. I had
my God, my heart.
Like, she's going to grab it. She's going to grab it. She didn't grab it. And I was like, oh no. But now there's two idols. There's Shona's idol and now there's Seamus's idol. So it's like.
No one knows about Seamus's idol though, I don't think.
No. So do you think that do you guys think it's going to be flashed, or do you think by surprise someone's going to actually find it? Then there's 2.
I think it depends where he hid it, like how well hidden is it? Because if somebody finds it, then they're going to think it's real, potentially.
Oh, you don't think he left with it?
Nah.
Did he have a real idol too?
Yeah. Seamus left with his idol because he said something. Didn't he say something about it being down his pants or something?
That was Tevin, I think.
Oh, that was
Tevin had an idol.
Maybe not. Yeah,
no,
Seamus, if you're watching, I don't think you have anything down your pants. Boom, shots fired.
Yeah. Tevin was the one. I even remember now that it's all coming back to me. And now I remember when Tevin put his idol in his groin, and like the camera even zoomed in on his crotch area, and I was like, "Whoa, okay."
All right. Well, that's all I got for now. You guys, I am anxiously awaiting going back and watching a comprehensive breakdown, but I am loving this. Thank you so much for talking me into watching this. I wish I had a little more time, but I am not going to make it tonight if I do not catch a quick power nap here before the insanity begins. So, but good luck. You guys are awesome.
Dreams.
I can't wait.
Yeah. All right. With that, we can go back to episode 5.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere.
Actually, it was such a tough week for Yontao because it was just an action packed of them going to travels the whole way through. So.
Oh yes, I've been very worried for Dino this whole week, and while he may have made it through, he is not in a good spot.
No,
I don't see how he can make it to the end. But that's a good thing about Survivor is sometimes you're backed into a corner and you cannot see any possibility where this could work out, and then something happens and it does. Just like Dino's situation in episode 8 looked pretty hopeless, but like he said, he does puzzles, he figures out solutions, and he did have a solution, just Phil messed it up.
Yeah, and I mean, when he was in Yontao, he eventually got like that power position where he had control. But it's just, it must be crazy because you hear your name being thrown out. Seamus was like, we need to get Dino out. And that kind of sits on your brain to say, okay, like Dino must be thinking, okay, well, I was on the chopping block. At least we sliced the person who wanted me out. But now with the tribe shuffle, then all of a sudden it's Dante saying we need to get Dino out. And now obviously with the numbers and with Shona being out, we didn't know. And now obviously Shona being voted out, how's Dino going to even sleep at night knowing that there are people that might not even have the numbers to now pull off something?
Especially with Dante's like show, like I told you this guy was dangerous. Like,
and I see Alex is in the comments here. He's saying even Dino told himself to not change the plan. So I don't know. When I saw the vote back, when I saw it was Shona that was gone, I'm like this huge Shona fan. Like when she was in season 5, she was so misunderstood by everyone, and she was always caught in the headlights. And when they announced the season for Survivor, the Outcasts, one of the first players that came to my head was Shona. And I actually sent her an Instagram when I knew that they were announcing people. And I was like, you know what? If you don't get on the show, I'm not going to understand why. And I said, you don't have to reply to this Instagram or whatever, but I just have this feeling that you're going to be there and good luck or whatever. And I was right. She was there. And when I saw her play this season, and she's just a ball of sunshine, and I just saw so much for her game. I'm happy that she beat her last placement. But yeah, it was just, I didn't want her to go. And I was like, when I saw the votes, I was so sure that Dante was going out. They were reading the votes and they were like, Shona, Dante, more Dantes. And I was like, okay, cool. This is Dante's time to go. And then they're like, the next person voted out. And I'm like, Dante. And I was so confident. And then they said, Shona. And I had the exact same expression that Shona had, where I was just looking at the TV and I was just like, who flipped? I thought maybe it was Palesa that flipped, because I thought maybe she wasn't too sure where those votes were going, because they had that conversation with her to say, if you stay with us, we'll have the numbers eventually. And she was like, okay, sure. So I thought it was her that flipped.
Yeah, at first I thought it was Shona that messed it up. And I was like, well, if that was the case, then she deserves this. But it was Phil. But I guess, I don't know. I guess we can come back to that and go back to episode 5.
Yes.
So it's weird having 4 episodes a week, because like episode 5 seemed so long ago, but it was Monday. How are you feeling about the 4 episodes a week schedule?
I must say it's very busy. It's nice in a sense that it keeps everyone talking about it the whole week. Because everyone's, did you watch Survive? Did you watch Survive? But at the same time, it's also a bad thing, because if someone doesn't have the time to watch it, that episode at that day, they have to go back and now rewatch the episode, find the time for that, and watch the new one that's going to air. So,
and try to avoid spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, it's bittersweet. As a Survivor fan, when you on Instagram, I know that if I'm going to miss the episode, I'm going to know who's going to be voted out, because there's way too many people that I follow that watch Survivor, and it's just there anyway.
Yeah, I know that when I miss a day, then I have to just stay off of social media.
And how do you feel about it with some episodes?
I'm torn about it, because I do like being able to watch it every night when I'm available, and thankfully I don't have too much going on in my life, so it hasn't been a big deal. But that might change. I don't know. Maybe I'll get some more friends. I'm traveling. I'm at my parents' house, but I'm not doing anything. Just working from home and watching Survivor at night, in bed by 9 type of deal. So so it's been working out okay. And it's easier than an Australian Survivor, because it's a whole day difference. So at least this, I know that it airs at noon my time. So by evening time, it's already up online and I can watch it. So it's worked out so far. But it also would be nice to be able to follow each episode. Although I wouldn't want to wait a whole week for all this stuff. So
yeah. Waiting on the week. I remember when it was season 8, Immunity Island, there was only, I think it was 1 or 2 episodes a week. I think it was maybe 1 a week, actually. It was so dragged out, because you feel like you're on the island with them. And yet when you watch the next episode, you kind of forget what happened in the previous episode. Where it's kind of all fresh on your mind, and you're able to know, the bullshit alliance or the full package alliance. It's it's all crammed together. You remember it. So I don't know, it's
Mhm.
bittersweet. I like 50-50.
Yeah. I think one episode is not enough. 4 might be too much, but I'll take it. It's a great season of Survivor, so I'm here for it. So I feel like we get a little bit of foreshadowing in episode 5 about Tevin and Seamus, which makes sense. Because I know we kind of like open with, is it Pinty talking about them being like a dangerous pair?
Yep.
But then also in the same episode, she's like talking about how she has to get Killarney out. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand in the edit, like why everybody wants to get rid of Killarney. Is this just like a lack of social skills? Because she seems to be doing the right things to me, which is basically like shutting up and just going with where things are flowing.
Killarney is an interesting character for me. I feel like everyone wants to get her out because when you're on the island, I'm sure there's emotions that come into play where you probably don't getting on with the person, so you're like, she might as well go. And also the whole thing between like Pinty and Killarney, even though staged with Pinty's side, Killarney just seems like that easy vote on the side. Like if someone pulls an idol, then it's going to be Killarney. If someone's going to say something that's going to absolutely surprise you, change your vote, it's Killarney. So I feel like Killarney is also, she didn't really know what was actually going on with the votes. She felt like she had that direction to say, oh, this is where the votes are going and this is how it works. But then there was that conversation she had with Phil and, was it Dino? No, not Dino. It was Phil and Pinty.
Killarney was left out of the Tevin vote, right?
Yeah. But there was that conversation where Killarney was like, okay, so we're all writing Seamus. And then they're like, yes. And then they're like, okay, so I'll tell Pinty to write down Seamus. And then they're like, no, don't do that. So Killarney had a bit of a, she didn't know where she stood with the tribe. So I could see where they were leaving her out,
What do you think about her game in the sense, like, I think she's doing all the right things, but at the same time, I don't know if she's noticing how expendable she is to all these other people that she's like working with. Do you think she's aware? I'm talking about Killarney.
Oh, yeah, I don't think she's aware. I think Pinty and Killarney's personalities really do clash as much as Pinty and Tanya's personalities clash. So Killarney is pretty much taking over from Tanya, I feel. And I just feel like the rest of the tribe are trying to pull in Pinty because, she's got more of a brain-wise, strategic, she's better than Killarney. But I do feel like they are buttering Pinty up a little bit, like just making her feel a little bit more thought out for. And I think Pinty's emotions got the best of her, and I think she wants Killarney out as well. So I think Phil and everyone else are saying, Killarney will have her day, and I think they're just trying to butter Pinty up a little bit. So I think that's also a reason why Killarney has been thrown under.
Another thing I wanted to note was like Phil, and part of his reasoning for getting out Tevin was talking, if we keep Pinty, she's going to be like as loyal as a dog. And I think that is something that people count on too much in Survivor, is reciprocated loyalty. Like, I saved you, so you're going to be loyal to me. And in my experience playing online games and in just watching probably every season of Survivor that exists, that doesn't happen a lot. You cannot depend on reciprocated loyalty. So I think that will be a mistake for Phil in the future. However, Pinty's she's like such a strong personality. She's always going to have eyes on her anyway, and people are always going to want to get rid of her. So I don't know how far she can get anyway. And I don't know that she can even get to a point where she might want to betray Phil, because maybe she will need him.
She will, because if I'm looking at Pinty's numbers, I think Pinty, if I'm trying to put my brain into Pinty's head, take Pinty's brain out, put my brain in there, like, what's going on? I'm on the island. I am Pinty. What's going on? I'm going to have a look around me and say, you know what? My personality is quite strong. I come up aggressive. I don't feel like anyone's on my good side. Maybe I'm not as emotional. I could be completely wrong. Maybe the edits just show Pinty that way. But they showed her in season 8, they showed her she's playing the exact same game, same character. I don't think she's as emotional as everyone else on the island. And at the end of the day, everyone's they're all people. You know what I'm saying? We all have emotions, and I think we kind of mesh with people who we get on with. Pinty kind of sees it as the game. You know, like once you've been put in the game, this is who you are, and you need to play the game. She doesn't have that emotional, like, you know, how many kids do you have? Are you married? Do you want to do something with your life? Kind of connect and pull on people's heartstrings. I don't think she's pulled on anyone's heartstrings.
I agree with that. I'm interested to see like what, because at this point I think she's making merge, which is shocking. But I don't think she's the best choice to get rid of. She's just not a threat.
Yeah,
she's a threat in the sense that, like, I don't know, she's kind of a loose cannon if something makes her mad, but I don't know. I don't think she's the biggest threat to get out at this point. So I see her making merge. So I think we will see her in positions where we'll know what type of player she really is. So yeah, I'm interested to see that. Okay, so also in this episode, Steffi finds an idol, good until final 6. I think I like having the idols expire at 6 versus 5. Has this always been a thing in South African Survivor, or is this kind of a new switch?
To have like a tribe swap?
No, for the hidden immunity idols to expire at final 6 versus final 5.
Oh, I think there actually has been idols that have been due for final 6, so it's not the first time that it's been introduced. I think season 7 had an idol that could be used in somewhere close to the end of the game. Not sure if it was final 6 or final 8, but at least it's not as an idol that needs to be used at the next tribal council.
Yeah, so I think in this episode she tells, I don't know if it's in this or the next one, but she does tell Marion, right, about the idol?
Yeah, Marion.
Do you think that's a good idea?
I do. Actually, I really think that's a good idea, because if I'm putting how Steffi found her idol versus how Marion found her idol with Steffi. So they kind of, Meryl wasn't there, you know? So it kind of, Marion kind of could show that bond with Steffi to say, look, I found my idol and we found it together kind of scenario. Now that Steffi found her idol, I could see why she doesn't want to tell anybody. And even though she's part of that full package alliance with Meryl as well, maybe she feels that at some stage, if Meryl had to be at the bottom of the barrel, Meryl could obviously be a loose cannon as well. So not tell your own alliance member, but tell the person in your alliance member that you're closest to, so that if ever anything has to happen, I mean, like, for example, if I was with you right now with someone else in our tribe, we're having this conversation over a podcast, which is great. So I feel like I'm connecting to you more than I am to the third wheel. So I really do feel like those two are like solid.
Yeah, I do too. I think I'm in the camp of never tell anybody about the idol unless it is necessary for a plan. So I guess you saw that from me when we played together. Like, I only told you about my idol when I thought it was strictly necessary for the plan that we were trying to do. And even then it was like, oh, I hope I did not mess up. I was very nervous about that. But yeah, maybe I'm too extreme in that camp because it can build trust. And in this case with Steffi and Marion, since Steffi knew about Marion's advantage, I don't quite call it an idol, because is it? Or is it just like the
I would say
diplomatic immunity?
Yeah.
I could see Marion being the type that if she found out Steffi had the idol and didn't tell her about it, she would be pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so a note about Tevin was this whole episode in all of his confessionals, he's saying, I'm lying to everyone all the time. I have no time for genuine bonds. And as he's saying this, I'm like, this is not going to work out for you, because people can see through that. Like, Dino is the contrasting character, I would say, where maybe like his moves are calculated, his conversations are calculated, and some people may have differing opinions on whether that's good or bad, but his bonds are still genuine, whereas Tevin's just faking it all. And you can see that, and you can feel it.
You can feel when someone's trying to play the game, and when someone's playing the game for themselves, and when someone's actually playing the game to help certain people get further, you know? Tevin, I could feel like it's just the words you choose in your group and to who you pull aside and when you pull them aside. If it seems like a very odd hour to pull someone away and start just speaking about game, you need to kind of get into it, speak about your personal stuff, your personal life, and say, how do you want to go further in the game? What are your thoughts? How do you feel? And then kind of give suggestions and bait, throw it out to them and say, but what if we do this? What if we do that? It makes you kind of feel more comfortable to say that this is the move we can make together. Whereas if I pull you aside and then start speaking game and saying, okay, this is what we need to do, and this is the moves that we need to make, it's bringing across that I'm trying to take charge. And I think that's, people picked it up from Tevin.
Oh yeah. I think I did feel bad because I'm just like, when you just see someone kind of make a fool of themselves and so confidently, I know, yeah, I'm like, oh no, he did it again. You're like, I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. And then immediately, it was like, it was foreshadowing, I think. But at the same time, I don't know how it's easy to get blindsided, but I think what he's missing is those genuine bonds. And if he had the genuine bonds, then he'd be able to pick up on changes in behavior that might alert him.
Yeah. And I don't know, I guess Tevin is a doctor. Doctors aren't psychologists, but I do feel that if you are a doctor, you need to kind of create a level of comfortability, like to make the person feel comfortable. If they're going to go in for an operation, make them feel comfortable. And Tevin had that opportunity that he could do that,
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think that in that case, the Tevin vote was the right thing to do. Obviously, he made the same mistake. And then we get into our next episode, and it's kind of, to me, a repeat of episode 5, Seamus making the same mistakes. Like towards the beginning of the episode, he says something like, I need to take power back, like right now. And I'm like, no, you need to shut up and go with the flow.
Actually, and I do think if Seamus just didn't have that revengeful, I'm coming for Dino, I think he could have actually still stayed in the game a lot longer. And I think it would have been maybe Killarney. They would have kept the vote safe for them at the end and said, okay, maybe because we've got a tribe full of strong people, Pinty or Killarney would be the next person voted out. But Seamus went full force.
Yeah, he was just making all the mistakes. Yeah, I think players like him and Tevin never are going to make merge because they're just missing a fundamental element. They're just seeing it as a game. And I think Seamus realized this, like, in his, like, exit speech. He seemed very, like, shaken by it. But yes, it is a game, and, like, you can think of people as pieces and everything, but at the same time, those social bonds and relationships is such a huge element of the game. And players like that, I don't know. I'm always hoping that when they come back, they figure that out. But I think we often see the same thing repeat itself.
Yeah, and it's like Dino explained it perfectly at his tribal council, where he was busy saying that Survivor is pretty much like chess, where you've got your pieces that you can move. They're predictable that way. But you can't think ahead. There's no ways that you can play so much in advance to say, okay, so this is the next person out, this is the next person out, because anything can change. It's unpredictable.
Yeah, and each piece has its own thing. That's it's impossible to predict. And we see that in episode 8, because to me, Dino had the solution, but he couldn't predict or force any behavior from everybody.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you can be a really good player, but if you have a crappy alliance member, it's not much you can do. I don't see really actually, I would love to analyze all the footage of that day, because I think Dino is brilliant. And I want to see, did he not communicate it enough, the importance of it? But at the same time, maybe he did, and they just were like, eh.
Yeah.
Because I could
Also,
see like Phil's paranoia because say Shona does do the little idle play or whatever, and the votes get moved. Maybe they safe like just vote Phil because that's the safest option.
yeah, but at this stage, like with Dino and Phil having that no bullshit alliance, I also feel like the communication could have just been a little bit better between Dino and Phil. Because if that was communicated better, then obviously Phil wouldn't have felt the need to have written Shona's name down. They would have still had a number.
There was also that scene where Dino is telling Phil about the idol before he tells him, or I don't know if it's the same scene, but when he's talking to him, asking if he's still good, you can see Phil's body language that he's not good
Yeah,
and that he's going to flip on him. And I don't know if Dino really picked up on that. That would be something I would be interested to ask him at some point.
very good point, actually.
Yeah, because I could just see it, and I was like, "Ooh, he is not with you."
Yeah.
And then when he told him about the idol, his like body changed. He was like, "Oh, so all right, he might be with you again."
Right, and then the one of the biggest questions now is because they had to like reel in Palesa from the Masu tribe to like come and vote with me and our group, and we'll be able to make big moves. We'll get Dante out, and Palesa was happy. She was like, "Oh, Dante is one of the people I want to get out the game. Great, I'll join you guys." And when the votes went wrong, it's like I feel like she's saying, I'm not going to vote with these clowns anymore. They don't know where they're voting. I'm going to go back to my old alliance. I'm going to stick there. So I feel like, there's a bit of danger ahead.
That was another thing is that I would like to know if the conversation came up of the four of them just voting Dante. They would have had the numbers because Dante was voting Dino. The rest were voting Shona. That's 4. That's enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's another question for another day, I suppose. Or maybe we'll see in the next episode because sometimes they go back and kind of talk about stuff like that. Okay, so in episode 7, we have the tribe swap. What do you think of the breakdowns?
I am obsessed with the way they did this tribe swap. So normal Survivor tribe swaps, drop your buffs. He has a bag, dig in this bag and get a new buff kind of thing. I felt like this was a new element to like add a bit of water and have different colors, the red and the blue. I loved it. It was very different. I actually saw it coming as soon as the scene opened up and I saw these little glasses of water and I was like, oh, sick. They probably have like this ink that they need to pour in the water. It's like I could read what was going on and everyone else could too. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was expecting more from when I first saw it. I thought it was going to be 3 tribes and I was like, oh no, someone's going to get screwed. I hate small tribes. Mostly, I don't know. I just hate them. Like when I play games, it's terrifying. There's nowhere to hide. I like to hide.
Not know what's happening, just in the background, observe what's happening in front of you and then kind of make your move from there. And it was this episode was such a good edit for Shona because it was basically her fate for the rest of the game. And it shows you how important decisions are, not only in the game but in life, because she got hurt, her health got in the way. You know what I'm saying? So, what if she chose the same tribe as Pinty? How long would she have still been in the game for? And she wouldn't have been damaged either. But you obviously can't tell the future. But it was a great edit for her because it was her choosing her fate, basically, because she was the one that had the yellow glass, and she was like, Nico was like, which tribe do you want to join? And she chose the red tribe, which I felt was the best option because she could see that Dino was there and they needed the numbers to obviously keep them strong. And it's how she said in her confessionals, if I'm on this side, I can help the old Yontu members while the other Yontu are great where they are. She needed to help out that side, which was amazing.
I think it's like easy for people to say, oh, that was a stupid choice and see how it worked out for her. But there was a path forward and they would have been in the majority had Phil just voted right. So I don't think it's quite fair to say that was a stupid choice because you also don't know. I don't think she was really close to anybody on the other tribe, like Pinty, Bariso, Killarney. Wait, I'm missing someone. Felix, yeah.
I wonder how the atmosphere is going to be in the next episode. Like, imagine imagine you were in Dino's shoes, for example, where you pretty much know you're going to have the numbers. You found an idol, you played it for yourself, you feel like you're winning in the game, and then Shona's back in the game, which is another number for you, and you're like, oh great, cool, I've got my no bullshit alliance, and I've got Shona on the side. This is great. This is working perfect for us. And now the person that's in your 3-man alliance votes the wrong person, and you've lost your number. How do you sleep at night knowing this? And now,
And you've lost your idol. And that big show from Dante.
And Palesa's trust. It all went south in that trial.
If he makes it out of this, I mean, it will be very exciting as a viewer. But like I said, I can't see the path. I hope he figures it out. I think the obvious choice is to try to gun for Dante, but at this point, I don't think Dino has any power. Nobody wants to listen to what he has to say because he's not making any decisions here. He can plant seeds around camp or ideas. I think Palesa and Phil, I don't know. It's like nobody has much to work with.
I really hope for Palesa's sake and Dino's sake in the game, because I really like both of them. I hope they still carry on working with each other to try and get Dante out. I hope that maybe, Phil speaks to Dino to say the reason why he voted for Shona and he felt this certain way, could give that message to Dino. Dino could obviously, Dino and Phil and Felix as well, pull in Palesa and say, you know what, this is the broken telephone that happened in this trouble. This is where we went wrong. But if we still stick with each other, we can still make a move if we grab someone else, to keep them.
Yeah. I think this tribe swap was the best thing to ever happen to Tony.
Yes.
Because I think we were going to be saying goodbye to her for sure.
And she knows how important tribe swaps are, right? Because she's a host in an org, and I'm sure she's hearing it in confessionals from everybody on how much they need tribe swaps so that they can save their ass. And she was in their shoes, as a host in an online org. She was now there on the island, and she could feel how it feels to just need that tribe swap because she really needed it.
Yeah, so that was great for her, bad for Dino.
And she was the first confessional that announced the tribe swap. They were like, and we've swapped. And then all of a sudden, Tony's confessionals come in. Like, thank goodness she needed this tribe swap.
Oh, she did. I also noted that, when Dante, hugged Felix or something, he's like, Tony's dodgy.
Yes. I was like, Dante is just throwing names left, right, and center. Tony's dodgy. Dino's too good, so... Maybe
Dante's not making it to the end. He needs to calm down. He's on a power trip right now. Which that's the only angle that I'm seeing. If he continues being like that, they might be like, oh, well, we can get rid of Dino later, maybe. I don't know. Dino really I don't know how he can. The problem with him is he is good.
He's very good.
And he can't hide it. I thought he was doing a good job hiding it on his original tribe.
Yeah.
Or at least being the person on the top.
So Dante is that type of person. And again, it's like I can figure Dante out because of season 7. He's this firecracker. I could see he's very introverted. He doesn't like spending too much time with people. And he can only take a certain amount of people before that bar's full. And when that bar's over full, then that's where he becomes a tool a bit. And then he starts throwing people under the bus. That's where his emotions start getting out, where his attitude starts showing, the way he presents himself to people is a bit, I need alone time. I'm sure you probably had to try and get alone time because he's just that type of person that's very in his own mind. But I really love his gameplay because he knows that there are big threats out there, Dino, Chappies, all the big people. And he knows that if they've been voted out, he's got this good way of pulling people in that feel on the out, that feel that they're not doing very well. And he's like, okay, well, vote with me and we can make this move, So it's a very
he's not wrong about Dino.
He's not. Dino's good.
I just don't want Dino to go. Yeah. Okay, so then we have the Outpost, and Dante, of course, has to go, right?
Yes.
Because he's in charge.
Mhm.
And then Tajan goes, right?
Yeah,
As well.
Tejan. Yeah.
Tajan. I think he's doing great.
I love his gameplay. Like when I first said that he reminds me of Jafar, and it's from his previous gameplay that he was in his previous season,
Mhm.
and now it's more of the Jafar than he's ever been Jafar, So being the snake in his previous season, he's a snake in this season, and he's just like this. I don't know. There's something about his personality or the way he's being edited, but I just get this. I don't know how to describe it, but the way he's playing and his mindset on how the game's going forward, he's got like a very good read on people. I'm excited to see where this goes with him. I feel like he's being very under-edited at the moment, which is good because I feel like his airtime will be in future. So I feel like he does make it far.
I do too. Yeah, just the way he's playing. He's never in the spotlight, which is what you want pre-merge for sure. Otherwise, because I think the people who are in the spotlight now are either going out pre-merge or first in the merge. And the people that are kind of like him, I think he could go far. I'm excited to see, because I think he's also getting, like, he has good relationships with enough people in different alliances. I think he'll get to the point where he's getting all the information, which is what you need.
Yep.
So,
And the whole and what do you think about that? So now that they've been to the outpost and they got that advantage to say that there's an idol back at camp. Obviously, Dante runs around, he goes and he grabs the idol, and then at the challenge, all of a sudden says that he didn't get it.
yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense to say that he didn't get it because was it Tajan?
Tejan, yeah.
Yeah, because Tajan said he didn't, which he didn't. So if he didn't give you any, and he doesn't know that that's not a lie, he probably assumes that's a lie. So why should he give him information if he didn't get any?
Exactly. So
I think a lot of times in Survivor, people think they're like entitled to information from people, and it's like, why are you entitled to like all the information about my game?
yeah, and it's just everyone's on your case the whole time, and I think being sleep deprived and you don't have food, your emotions are times 50 of what you would be on a normal day-to-day basis. And when your emotions are so high, the smallest thing can upset you the most. I just probably need to say, like, if I found the idol, or if I lied to you about the idol, maybe I lied to you because it's not that because we don't have trust, it's because it's not the right time to tell you, and we're in different tribes, and I've been meaning to tell you. But if you have to find out that I'm lying to you, that little bit of emotion is, oh my word, this person is lying to me. I cannot trust this person at all. My whole lifeline of the game is on the line. You can trust this person. Emotions take the better of you. That's why Pinty is making such good TV, is because she's hangry and her emotions are all over the place.
Yeah. Oh, that's one. Like, I don't know how I would do on Survivor because, like, I know I have limits with like social stuff. Like, I do like to be by myself too. And if I'm like around people all the time, all day, every day, plus being hungry and tired, like, I'm gonna get cranky. And I don't know. Like, I don't get in arguments with people. I don't like fight with people in real life because I know that when I'm done, I can just leave and it's fine. And that's what I do.
Go home, have your food. Don't have to worry about other people.
Yeah.
Where this, you have to, and the worst part is that you're spending time with people that you don't speak to on a day-to-day basis. It's not like that you're speaking to friends from last year or people that friends or family. You're literally with people that you don't know. You know them, obviously, because it's a returnee season, but you don't know them.
Yeah, and it's like maybe not people you would like normally talk to in your day-to-day life, which is the beauty of it. Like, I love situations where there's like forced interaction with people that maybe you never would normally, because I think you learn a lot from people and build like unexpected bonds sometimes, and we see that throughout seasons, which is, I think, part of why people like watching Survivor.
Yeah.
Like Rudy and Richard in season 1.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like the best example, but that happens a lot, and it's great to watch. Okay, so I feel like Theresa has a good like read on everything that's going on.
She's
And-
amazing. I love that edit where where Steffi and who is it? Steffi and another physical person. They were speaking about, maybe someone in the comments can help me. I've gone blank. They were speaking about Jim and how Steffi likes to help people. And Teresa's just sitting there like, I'm not part of this conversation. I don't do any exercise. I don't like exercise, and I don't like anything for my health that makes me healthy. It was such a funny edit to say, like, you know, that this person is so different, gym and health-wise, that she has to now sit in the middle of this conversation and be like, how do I do this? I need to sit here and speak to these people because, you know, Survivor.
Right. That's the difficulty of it. And I think that's parts of, like, when you're sitting on the couch, you don't realize the difficulty of just having to sit through those types of conversations when you have nothing to add, but you also can't be like, I have nothing to add, because then people don't like that.
Yeah.
But I think she's doing pretty good. I see her making merge at this point.
I do too as well. I think she hasn't had many confessionals, but the confessionals that she's been given have been very uplifting, and it's not too much of dirty gameplay on her side, and it's more of just uplifting confessionals where she's joking around and kind of taking that gameplay out of Survivor and just telling you what she's going through in that moment.
And I think she's like pretty socially aware at this point too, like with what's going on, which is positive. And then I think we see, was that in episode, I don't know if it's episode 7 or 8, where she's got this potential alliance building with Steffi?
Yeah. I think I'm getting a call from someone quickly. Would it be possible if I can come back?
Sure.
Bugging me.
Okay, so I guess we're going to lose Tristan for a minute, and I will talk to myself.
For now, I'll be back soon.
Okay. Okay, so we have an alliance budding with Theresa, Tajon, and I forget the 2 other people. It's written down somewhere. But I think this is a good thing for her and Tajon because they have the information that they need. But we won't see that until come into play until later because they have not lost yet. So, yeah. So, okay. So we get to this immunity challenge, and please, can we stop doing challenges that injure people? I'm not a fan of that. I'm glad we didn't lose Shona, but had we lost it, we would have lost a big part of episode 8 and that tribal and how everything plays out. I really wanted to see how that fake idol played out. I'm sure everybody did, and we were all hoping for it. And it didn't happen. And now that however, Shona may be gone, but the idol's still there and Dino knows about it. So I think we may still get to see this play out. I thought this was a very exciting thing because we haven't ever seen this in a season of Survivor. So I want to see how it plays out. I think it's interesting that in all the American seasons, all the Australian seasons, we haven't seen this. And then we happen to have 2 different people come up with this in this season. So I think this is something we'll definitely see in upcoming American seasons and Australian seasons. It might become a common play, just like making fake idols is a common play. So I'm interested. It's one of the evolutions that I'm interested to see how comes up with Survivor. So one moment. Technical issues. Okay. Also, another thing about this episode is we don't have an ending. So that is the beautiful part of the 4 episodes a week is we don't have to wait a week to see what happens, because that would be a lot of anxiety, I think. So this challenge also, despite the injuries, just lasted way too long. So I vote for not doing this challenge again. I don't know how other people feel. But yeah, I'm not a fan of challenges that have a lot of injuries. We saw that in American Survivor. I forget what the challenge was called, but they finally stopped doing it because we had multiple. I'm just sitting here talking to myself.
Hey, so join us on the Patreon if you want to check out the Snake in the Grass podcast. It will be a Patreon exclusive. Go to adfreeNSFW.com. Join right now. We'll be recording Monday night. That's adfreeNSFW.com. And as you guys can tell, I have a very busy time ahead of me. Until next time, bye.
Okay.